Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gamers, 70 on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of, I believe, Tennis Ace Kaikun's Path. So y'all, let me plug my phone right in. I don't know why I didn't do that before. Alright. Okay, Kaikun's Path, here we alright, Kaikun's Path. Anyway, y'all, please sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes while I entertain you, and let's jump right in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Okay. Kagahu-san, how come you're not where... Is everyone seriously going to ask me that question? The Raven snaps, for a second dropping his composed attitude. His face flashes with a scowl as his voice echoes his profound annoyance at the repeated questions. Okay, forget I asked. Sheesh, someone's pissy today. No, you just happen to be the third person asking me that question. I've already become fed up. How's it my fault? Don't snap just at me. Sorry, I think I might have kicked off this issue. If you're sorry, then how come you're smiling? The monkey pouts, his face starting to get red. What I've seen last time I was here and what I'm seeing now, I guess he's not the most mature person around. I mean, he did throw a temper tantrum when he thought I had dated their vocalist before. Kurusu, don't forget to breathe. I think your lips are starting to turn blue. I am breathing! Can we stop acting like children already? Both of you. I don't see what about my behavior makes me a child. Of course you don't. You're too slick to be caught misbehaving, aren't you? You're the one who said it. Yes, what an odd coincidence, isn't it? Now, can we focus on rehearsing? Are the girls here already? Miu and Shoko are. Ichigo will probably still be a while. She's in the middle of negotiations. What? Then how are we supposed to rehearse without her? You know your riffs, don't you? That's all you need to rehearse. But it's just not the same without Ichigo-san. What's not the same without Ichigo? Aw, cute. Cute outfits. The girls walk out of the adjoining room, both changed out of the uniforms. Since the monkey has been speaking so loudly, they both walk with their eyes glued to him. Looks of curiosity plastered over their faces. Kagahu-san wants us to rehearse without her. Oh, yeah. She said she was going to be late today because of her negotiations with the student council president. What's the problem with that? What? You don't think there's anything wrong with that? We can't rehearse without her. I actually don't see any problem either. The coyote eyes me, her eyes lingering for a second before she finishes her sentence. Damn, her eyes look really scary and unfriendly. Does she not like me or something? It's probably the opposite. She's probably fucking adores you. The raccoon, noticing my discomfort, elbows her friend. Shoko-chan, don't stare at him like that. He'll get the wrong idea. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. She stammers out her words, her eyes suddenly becoming fixed on her shoes. Please try to have a little more tact, won't you? What are you talking about? I'm all about tact. Sure. Kagaho-san the Raven leans up towards me, whispering in my ear, "For real estate." Please don't mind her. She's really shy with newcomers, and some people think she comes off as being standoffish. Oh, I see. A message received. Well, should we get to it? But what about Ichigo-san? Look, I understand your reservations, but there's less than 2 weeks until the festival, and you guys only have 3 hours a day to rehearse. Do you really want to lose up to an entire hour because of that? But... It's as Keisuke says. We need to use our time to its fullest. We have 2 original songs to play, and we haven't even finished learning the first one. Even if I'm being optimistic, I still see us having a hard time getting them perfected by then. We can't afford to be wasting time now, unless you want our first show to be nothing more than song covers. In which case, good luck getting any attention with that. Alright, let's get started then. Right. I'm gonna be watching from inside the control room with Yuichi-san. Alright, we'll do some warming up before we get into it. Feel free to call us out if we make any mistakes. I don't think I'm qualified to do that sort of thing. It's your song. You're the only one who can tell us if we're performing it correctly. That's, Aw, what's wrong? Embarrassed to have your friend hearing your original composition? Shut up! A nice job establishing your authority. You're getting teased by a freshman. Don't you start too. Come on, just come with me to control room. I walk into the so-called control room for the first time. First thing that stands out to me is how old the equipment inside looks. Holy shit, are these CRT monitors? Just how old is this stuff? Most of it is unusable. I tried offering to buy new equipment for the band, but they flat out refused. All the instruments and amps they use are stuff they bought for themselves, and they are all proud of that. Not that it would matter, though. We don't really do any recording, so the only thing that we need to have functional is the sound monitor. You mean the CRTs? No. A sound monitor is something you use to monitor the sound frequencies. And we plug a headphone to it so that we can listen to what's going on inside as well as check each mic separately. Notice how we have more than one microphone inside. We're not just picking up the sum of the sounds inside. We have mics placed to record each instrument separately too. It allows the sound engineer to monitor every single player in the room. That's why it's called a monitor. It's the only equipment in this room that is now outdated past the point of uselessness. Oh, I didn't know any of that. Damn, I feel so stupid with having him to explain all this stuff to me. It doesn't help that he acts as if it was the most basic part of the most basic stuff in the world. Here, I'm gonna plug in other headphones so you can listen too. Just don't touch anything else, okay? Sure. Keisuke hands me a pair of earbuds and at the same time grabs another one for himself. He puts one on his left ear, leaving the other off. I assume he did it so he could still talk to me. Regardless, I imitate him, trying my best not to look like too much of a novice with this stuff. Earbuds? I thought you'd be using an earphones. Damn it, get that right. Okay. There are no good models out there for hairs. Our ears are too big and that causes the sound to bleed. A good pair of references earbuds are better since they completely close the ear canal. Damn, you really know a lot about this stuff. What? Mixing? Not at all. I had to research a lot of this stuff when I first joined so I could be useful. It wouldn't surprise me if I were wrong about some stuff. Well, in that case, you sound really confident about something you don't really know anything about. Wouldn't be the first time. Keisuke, can we start? I hear someone's voice echoing inside my left ear. Looking through the window to the next room, I see the Raven looking directly at the two of us. All the band members are in their respective positions with their instruments. I have to admit, even the meekest-looking member of their band looks a hell of a lot more imposing once they have their instruments in hand. They really look like people who know what they're doing. The air of confidence they all have is a little stifling, if I'm being honest. Keiken presses a button and talks into a microphone that is dangling from the pedestal near his mouth. Sure, whenever you want. The Raven nods, sharing a knowing glance with the other members. Almost as if on cue, their drummer, the raccoon girl, clacks her drumsticks a few times as if to make a countdown. Then they all start playing all at once. No one is even a beat late on their start. The synchrony leaves me completely astounded. Whoa! I have a hard time even trying to come up with words. It's just, I can't even begin to put it into words. I look over to Keiken sitting next to me and see him frowning, staring at their performance with the complete opposite reaction to mine. Is something wrong? They're not playing like usual. What do you mean? Half of them are doing just fine, but I think Ichigo-san not being here is making some of them uneasy. Really? Who? Guitar and keyboard. That's Kurusu and Shoko. Our bass and drums are fine. They're setting the rhythm that just as they should be, and are making sure no one goes too wild. I have to commend them for that. But both the guitar and the keyboard are playing slightly off. That's not a huge difference, but any difference, no matter how small, can throw off the other members of the band, too. Look at Kagaho-san. He's definitely noticed. I look through the window once more, seeing the Raven looking between Kurusu and Shoko with a frown. How is he able to focus on playing while also keeping the others in line? The guy's a monster. Kagaho-san is pretty amazing like that. As if reading my thoughts, Keiken starts talking about the Raven, looking at the bassist with what looks like with what looks to me like envy. Okay, sometimes I get a little tongue-tied. He's like the band's guardian or something like that. He keeps a death grip on the rhythm and always manages to keep the rowdier members from going too crazy. He's the only reason the band can play in synchrony. In fact, he's probably the only reason this band can even function as a unit in the first place. He tends to act as a mediator for everyone and all the time. And he's always keeping an eye on everything that's happening. That guy's probably as close to having superpowers as a person can be. Really? Because we know a bunch of really hardworking people already. You sure he's the closest to having powers out of all the people we know? Maybe not more than Urata, but then again, Urata doesn't have powers. He has a problem. Cheeky. I wonder how he'd react to hearing you say that. Probably fire a few choice expletives at me. You know the usual. The fact that you can say that with a smile on your face is a little bit scary, I have to admit. How come? I enjoy our antagonistic to and fro. It's one of the most fun parts of my day. I think Shuichi isn't the only one with a problem. Perhaps, but I admit to nothing. Despite the light-hearted conversation, Keisuke's eyes continue to be fixed on the band. He watches them like a hawk, scrutinizing every minor movement and sound they make, constantly on the search for any mistakes. Yep, this session is a bust, alright. Is it really that bad? At this point, it'd be better for them to not play until Ichigo-san gets here. They're just gonna end up developing bad habits and having a hard time performing it right if they keep this up. Oh, ouch, that's harsh. I'm supposed to be their manager. If it means making sure they're doing well, then I have to be harsh. Sounds like a job you'd enjoy. I like hearing them play and helping them with their arrangements. I don't like being the ass that tells them they're awful. Well, that's your problem. You shouldn't be using the term awful in the first place. That's why you're an ass. You know what I meant. Don't try to be smart with me. I have no idea what you're talking about. Ow! Kaken flicks me with his on the forehead, chuckling softly as I rub the spot where he just flicked me, a little stinging sensation throbbing in my head. That's cute. We both know you're not slick enough to pull off a clueless act. I could do without the flicking, you know. What? It's my way of showing I care. Sure it is. Hang on, they're about to finish it up. He leans forward and pressing a button on the panel again. I think that button might be so the microphone in this room transmits the recording to the recording booth. I'm not really sure. Can you guys take a 5? Kagaho-san, I need to speak with you. Barely 5 seconds after they finish their performance, Keisuke begins to speak, snapping everyone's attention towards the window. The Raven sighs, putting his bass back on the stand and speaking a few words towards the other band members that I can't hear since he's speaking away from the microphone. It was terrible, wasn't it? Before he's even had time to close the door, Kakaho-san asked the question. It wasn't the best, no. You and Mio-san were doing a good job, but the other two... They're too used to following Ichigo's lead. Without her here, they get lost. Yeah. I don't know if it's the absence of Ichigo-san specifically, or just a lack of vocals in general, but they certainly weren't concentrating. This is going to be a problem. I don't know how long Ichigo is going to take, and I'd really rather not miss precious rehearsal time. He crosses his arm, leaning his back against the door and letting out a big sigh. Kagaho's black feathers are ruffled and messy. I can see a few beads of sweat glistening between them. Is playing an instrument really that much work? Come to think of it, they're all a bit sweaty. And they only played for, 4 minutes? What do you think we should do? Get Ichigo-san here. He sighs again, a strange smile flashing over his beak. All right, let me rephrase. What do you think we can do? Have just you and Mio-san practice. If the other two continue trying, they're going to end up just making things harder for themselves when they have to correct their mistakes. Alternatively, you could try to point out their mistakes and hope that they can fix it. I'm not very hopeful for that, given how they've just played, though. No, you're right. Maybe Shoko could stand some chance of getting back on track, but Caruso isn't the type to do well with corrections. He's going to be thrown off his game no matter what. If we try to correct him, he'll just get nervous trying to fix his mistake and end up making more. That's what I thought, too. Both of them sigh at the same time. Kagaho-san closes his eyes, letting his head hang back and lean against the wall. Kaken, on the other hand, begins to rub his forehead, taking deep breaths. Is he thinking? That's a very dramatic way to think. Just throwing out a crazy suggestion, but maybe you could fill in for Ichigo as a singer until she gets back. Don't be ridiculous. There's no way I could do that. Isn't there? Ichigo seemed to think you could. She said you were a great singer. That's not... What's the harm in it? You did initially join this club because you wanted to sing and play guitar, didn't you? It's not that simple. Why not? They're a band, not a computer. They're people who are used to working together with certain other people. You can't just swap a part out and have it work normally. Having me there would probably just throw them off even more. And there's also the fact that I can't sing in public. Kagaho walks up to Keisuke, putting a hand on the hare's shoulder and smiling softly. You won't know until you try. Come on, we really need to make good use of this rehearsal time. Besides, you already sang in public back at that lizard guy's store, remember? Everyone loved you. That's different. I forgot there were people around, plus, I was pressured by him into doing it. Alright, then I'll pressure you to do it in his stead. It doesn't work that way. Come on, it would really help us if you could. Just for today. No one's asking you to take over for Ichigo forever, just until she gets back. Kagaho-san stares at Keisuke silently, his eyes glued to the hare's face, their eyes not meeting. God damn it, peer pressure. Fine, I'll do it. That's great. Thanks for the help. The Raven taps Kaken on the shoulder a few times, smiling. Just don't blame me if I end up making things worse. You'll be fine. Stop worrying so much. I hope Ichigo-san doesn't take much too long. Could you at least try to pretend you're paying attention to me when I'm trying to encourage you? By the way, what should I do while you're over there with them? Just listen to the rehearsal through the headphones and don't touch anything, okay? How cold? You don't trust me not to break stuff? No. Not even giving me time to react, he plainly utters the word no and walks out of the room. Looking through the window, I see the other band members shooting him quizzical looks and starting to have a conversation. I really hope this all goes well. 45 minutes later. Alright, let's take a break for a bit. Okay. Despite Kaken's presence as a vocalist, the band was still having problems coordinating. Having him around certainly lessened their issues, but I could tell from the faces Kagaho-san was making that things weren't anywhere near perfect yet. Not only that, I could tell Keiken wasn't singing his best. His voice sounded strained, and at times I could hear him choking on notes I know he could easily hit before. The whole thing was starting to leave a sour taste in my mouth by the time Kagaho-san called for a break. Finally! Keiken walks into the room with a sigh, immediately flopping down on his chair. You okay there? I told him there was no way I could fill her shoes. I just screwed things up even more. You think so? To me, they definitely improved, even though you were singing kind of weird there. So you noticed it too, huh? I was too nervous. Keisuke? Keiken immediately stands up, his whole body going stiff as soon as Kagaho-san walks into the room. Yes? Are you alright? I could tell you were pretty tense over there. You too? I knew I was doing bad, but was it really that terrible? Actually, I wouldn't call you terrible by any stretch of the word. With that said, I did notice you looking pretty tense and uncomfortable, so I figured that might be negatively impacting your performance. It really was. I've seen Keiken sing before, and he's much better than that. What? Yuichi-san? So it's as I thought, huh? The Raven crosses his arms, idly scratching at his chest and looking past us with a look of wonderment. Kagaho-san? Oh, sorry, did you say something? His attention snaps back to Keisuke, his brow furrowing. Are you alright? You don't usually get lost in thought. No, everything's alright. I was just considering some things. May I ask what those things are? You may not. Oh, sorry. Kagaho chuckles, giving the nervous hare a few friendly pats on the shoulder. Don't worry, it's nothing major. I just prefer to keep my thoughts private, that's all. Still, I enjoyed performing with you, even if it was just a rehearsal. Having your vocals definitely helped the other two concentrate, even if they weren't back to 100% immediately. I'd like to do it again. You said it was a one-time thing, remember? Right, I did say that. Ichigo-san! I hear someone's voice echoing loudly in my ear from the one earbud I still have. I immediately flinch and instinctively take it out. Yuichi-san, are you alright? Yeah, someone just shouted really loudly into the mic, that's all. Alright guys and gals, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks, or a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!